Hello everyone, my name is Steven Zapata. I'm a concept artist, illustrator, online art teacher, and former instructor at Art Center College of Design. I would like to introduce you to my new drawing course, Form from Imagination, a course designed to help you draw with confidence from your mind. Maybe you want to be a professional illustrator or designer, maybe you want to be a master with a pencil, or maybe you just want to be the best artist that you can be. Beautiful goals. But it's not always clear how to improve the work that you do from imagination. Over the past 6 months, I've taken all of the little eurekas, tips, and essential exercises that gave me confidence drawing from my mind and compiled them into a sequential course. We start with the absolute foundations, covering the scientific nature of light and shadow, how to hatch, how to create flat tones, how to render spheres and cubes, and step by step, we move through combined shapes, complex shapes, organic shapes. We cover how to simplify extremely complex subjects like the head into basic shapes so that you can handle them more easily from your head. We look at how to understand and treat details. And by the end of these 14 chapters with over 50 video lessons, you'll be ready to do complex designs from your mind with fidelity and energy. And all the demos are done in pencil on paper, so you can do all of the assignments even if you don't have a fancy digital art setup. But I also have demos, instructions, and modifications to the assignments for those who do want to do them digitally. Here's how it works. Go to formfromimagination.com and sign up for the course. Download the assignment book and start watching the lectures. Do the assignments at your own pace. Take your time with them and use this self-study to develop your patience. When you're done, post your assignments in the exclusive community hub, and I'll personally critique your work with drawovers, diagrams, and advice. I want you to know, this course is no joke just because it's online. It is challenging content, and it is more complete than it would be if I was teaching this class at an art college as I have before. If I was teaching this class in person at Art Center today, I would just play these videos in class, knowing full well that they're the most concise, focused, edited, step-by-step way to convey the material. So I'm serious when I say, this course isn't just a substitute for a college-level course, it's better than a college-level course. And you don't have to pay thousands of dollars per credit and wind up hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. So thank you for checking out the course, thank you for watching this and for your support, and thank you for drawing and making your artwork. The world needs it. I'll see you soon. What? Hello, everybody. What is up? Are you ready for relaxing sketchbook session? I've been sick the past few days, but I still gotta draw. And if I draw, I must stream. My white balance is off. Let me show my hair. Gaze yeah at my hair. Now my back? All right, whatever, dude. My life is just a total. I can't get my white balance right. It's like that means my whole world is messed up. What's up? Oh, and of course the light beams are coming in. I told my wife the other day, I was like, I'm gonna get some curtains to block these light beams that come in during morning streams. And she's like, you're crazy. And I'm like, why is that crazy? That's not a crazy thing to do. That makes perfect sense. And she's like, dude, it's just some light beams. Nobody cares. And I'm like, Deirdre, you don't understand the importance of production value, the importance of having everything absolutely flawless. She just doesn't get it. She just doesn't get it. I've been sick the past couple of days. Still feel sick today. So don't expect much from me today. We're just going to chill. We're just going to chill and we're going to sketch. What have I been sketching recently? Seeing if I have any direction to go in. Where's my robota? My roababutt. What I name this file? Robotica no slippery ragaga gaga. Gajaga. The ultralight beams. Used to drive my my best friend Omar crazy with that. We'd be driving around in California and just, we on that ultralight beam, we on that ultralight beam. This is a God dream, this is a God dream. This is everything. Any new videos planned? Never. No. I'll do pre-recorded YouTube videos again once my time opens up a bit. I have a you know, I'm kind of a, you know, a jerk. So I really only want to make them when I have something new to say. Not really interested in just like making them on a schedule for the sake of it. So I'll do new ones when I have a series in mind that I would do for videos when I get back to them. Something I've been wanting to do for a bit, which is probably a short series, maybe 4 or 5 videos that would be sort of, well, you know, a lot of them are meditations for artists, right? But this particular series would be meditations that I would ask viewers to do out in the world while they're walking around. Either walking around their neighborhood or looking at stuff in their house or in nature or something like that. Basically some guided seeing meditations to try to shake the young artist out of, well, the surprising fact that a lot of people, until they reach a certain level in drawing, have never actually seen the world. The world has been locked away from them. They've been interpreting symbols. The world has been, they haven't had like an initial psychedelic experience to reveal the world as a ever-shifting scrim of light and shadow colors. And they've just been dealing with everything in the world as a series of utilitarian symbols for those things. It's an important, that makes it sound magical. It's not. It's a very commonplace, banal experience, but it's a necessary one for all artists who are going to do anything like, artists who are interested in anything like representing the world in some way. So it'd sort of be a series to try to like shake that loose in people who haven't had that experience. And people who have had that experience can skip it. It's a banal magic. Everything is a banal magic. Hold on, I think I'm getting some lag. No, it's all right. Hold on a second. Sorry, my family's trying to plan a family vacation, and the intensity of the planning is spiking. And they're trying to book right now, right now. Mateus Urbanowicz. Why does Mateus have a check mark on my channel? Mateus, how'd you get that check mark? Or are you like a famous person? Hey, Steven, I really enjoyed the advice in your previous stream about being careful about overstimulation and being overconnected and overinformed all the time about everything. It's a real problem. I'm glad it could help a little bit. Sorry, I know this is embarrassing, but this is real life stuff. My family's gonna be pissed if I'm the one holding up the booking the vacation, because you know how it is when you're trying to book for peak season. It's like stuff you want disappears second to second. All right. We understand, Stephen, that you have also real life stuff. The internet does not understand. All right, so my sickness, the main symptom that I've had is that my throat has been closing up. So I don't know how much I'll be able to talk. So let's let Vadi talk for a little bit, because I wanted to watch this. Anyway, and just let me get an initial, let me sketch a little bit.
Before the Prince of Death, suggesting he was the one who carved the curse mark from Godwin's flesh.
I know all of y'all listen to Vadi to get inspired
used
while
a
you
weathered
work.
dagger
Anyway.
to carve it out, and perhaps this dagger was then mockingly gifted to a rotten witch, setting into motion the events that would lead to his brother Darian's death. The mariners are a joke, making your hunt for the spreading death root an easy one. It shows up in Limgrave, in Leonia, even in the mountaintops of the giants, and it is most common wherever there is stagnant water, which is a medium that represents corruption and defilement, and the death root infects all manner of creatures who
Good night, Mateus.
meet their end sporting these distorted pustules of Godwin's own visage. Deathroot even starts to get the better of Marika's own shadow. After all, in the end, what we're feeding him is now much more than just the missing fragments of the Rune of Death. Something has changed.
Why do we artists always do the same thing?
Strange.
I think usually it's because before we're artists, we're fans. You know, we're fans of art, a lot of us. And, you know, things that get popular with huge amounts of people.
Put it away. I won't forget. Again. Mine appetite. My sin. I must have more.
Is the sunshine peeking through the shades on your face? Yes. And my wife doesn't understand how important it is for me to prevent this scenario. She's like, Steven, you're crazy. Nobody cares. I need to screenshot your message to show that people care. These are the little petty wars that occur between husband and wife every day. You see? People do care. I do need to block off the only window in the studio. We don't need light. Light is the enemy. We have artificial lights.
Marika! Is this what it is to sin? Will things never be the same Again? Tarnished. My thanks for thy long labor. But I have done all I can in this land. Henceforth, mine appetite shall be my sole companion. Farewell.
Hello. I was hoping to see you. My examination is complete. Here's the knife print back, with my thanks. Now I have a fairly good idea who performed the rite upon the blade. The person who orchestrated the Night of the Black Knives. Lunar Princess Rani. One of the children born to King Consort Radigan and his first wife, Ranala. Demigod and sister to General Radahn and Praetor Rykard. Hers was the name I discovered in the imprint. If Rani truly is the one who plotted that fateful night, then she should bear the curse mark of destined death somewhere upon her flesh. I would like you to procure it for me. And then all will be laid bare. I will have the answers I have sought for so long. Do you know of those who live in death? These souls have committed no offense.
Studio? What's it
they
like?
have
Is all
every
the work
right
worth
to
the
life.
payoff?
Only
I worked on Elder Scrolls Online for over a year. I'm assuming by AAA you mean AAA in video games. So that was ZeniMax, technically. They bought Bethesda. Is all the work worth it? Worth the payoff? It depends on you as a person. And how much you like games, or how much your self-esteem and self-worth is derived from the projects that you work on and things like that. If you're very into that, you know, if it's very important to you, the projects you work on and what you're associated with and feeling like you're associated with big things, you know, if that's what you need to make it feel like you're a real person and that you exist in reality, then I'm sure the payoff would be incredible. In case you can't sense it in my cloying sarcasm, I am not really like that. So for me, it's not as satisfactory as we might hope it would be for people. I don't really derive a lot of joy or feelings of meaning from knowing that I'm working on something big. Every time I've worked on big stuff, as soon as it's done, I'm like, yeah, it just kind of like flies out of my head. So it depends on the kind of person you are, the kind of artist that you are. It's funny because I still get a little, so I've been trying to move away from that ever since I realized that about myself, but it's very difficult, the cultural traps that we get into, because I find I still get a little jealous when I hear about, not even a friend, but like just another artist, an acquaintance, not even an acquaintance, just an artist I am familiar with. I still get a little jealous when I hear some cool story about some big project that fell in their lap, or someone who wanted to work with them or something like that. And then when I feel that jealousy come up, I then think about, I like imagine, I remind myself, I'm like, how would I feel if I got that email to work on that project, or that email from that big person? And when I look at it honestly and I think about the times that has happened to me, I realize like I get stressed, and the stress doesn't stop, and I don't, because it's just work to me, and it doesn't, you know, when I get an email from someone interesting that is asking me to work on it, there's like a less than a 1 second rush of like, fuck yeah, that person wants me. And then right after that, it's like, I wish I never got that email. because now I feel like I have to take this job. It's stressing me out, the deadline, the amount of work that I'll need to do. They're stressed out a lot of the times. Usually people, when they're emailing you for work, it's because, you know, they're panicking. You know, they need to fill a team, they're behind deadline, things like that. So yeah, it's interesting how even if you know the kind of person you are, you still have like cultural baggage that creeps in there and messes you up.
They happened to touch upon a flaw in the order. By Dee's account, these defiled fiends must be expunged. But truth be told, I seek the curse mark to save them.
If we're looking for someone to blame in all of this mess, then where do we land? Does the guilt lie with those who live in death, who touched Deathroot? Or with Godwin, who spawned it? Or should we blame Rani, who thought up the plot in the first place? Personally, I think any fault goes even further back, to Marika, who, in her hubris, thought that she could free the world from death. Death and life should never have been separated, a fact that is more clear now than ever.
Maybe I should tell you. Lately, I feel I'm on the precipice of falling into a deep, fathomless slumber. And I have an inkling it could spell trouble for you somehow. So I just wanted to get the apology out of the way beforehand, since you're so scary and all. Well, this is unfortunate.
Hello, Ayub.
Godwin. Full circle forms rune.
So, whoever can obtain 2 halves of the curse mark can form a rune. With his dying breath, Roger hints that Fia might be able to use this. And a letter, scrawled by Roger on his deathbed, tells us one last thing. It's that Dee had a twin brother, and that the other Dee might be found in an aqueduct beside the eternal city of Nokron. Roger implores us to put his friend to rest and reunite the twins, which we do by returning Dee's armor.
That was my favorite armor set in the game. I mean, by far, that armor set, it just fucking mogs all the other ones. It's got such a big concept behind
Devon
it. It's
stood
just like
before
so
Godwin,
different.
not far beyond
Two
this
intertwined
spot.
beings.
And indeed, Devon
It's over
and
the
the
top
dagger
cool.
were
Excessively
death-blighted.
cool. I wish they'd take it
So
out.
we travel a
I
little
downloaded a
farther,
mod to mod it out of the game.
upwards to a nameless city
It's distracting.
that's overtaken by roots, and Godwin himself.
Oh, Lord Godwin. Oh, my poor sweet lordling should have died a true death.
Do you use ChatGPT to ask philosophical questions? No. I don't need a robot telling me what to think about consciousness and existence.
How
and
could such a thing
all of
come
those
to
things.
be?
I think everybody's a fool for using that as the Rorschach blot to assess their feelings
Fia
about
finally
things.
lies with Godwin, the Prince of Death,
It's like,
defending
go
his
use a tree
being
as a
with the
Rorschach
sapped
blot
strength
or a bush.
of every hero who lay.
Why let the opaque,
including,
dumb,
of course, the famed spellblade,
unknowable
Roger.
conditioning factors of this robot created by a company that is run by people who are completely sycophantic, sociopathic, just ultra rich, who don't care about you. Why let and they don't even understand what the hell their product is, or what it does, or how it does the things that it does, or why it does the things that it does. And you're gonna let that tell you what to think about God or existence or free will. Like, you're psycho. Stupid shit. God damn it.
Ah,
Especially
there you
shameful
are.
for
I knew you would come.
an artist.
What is it you
Disgusting.
intend?
I
To
abhor
deny
this.
us and our ways, like the dogmatic brutes of the Golden Order. You are an odd one. I am the guardian of those who live in death. They call me a foul and rotten witch. Yet you still wish to be held by me?
I know it's hipster and lame and cringe, but go stare at a tree, dude. Go look at an animal.
This
Go ask
is
your
the other
philosophical
Hallowed.
questions to
How did
God's
you-
very bones and blood,
my
to the world around you.
utmost thanks. With this, Godwin can take his rightful place as first of the dead and claim a second, illustrious life. You are our true champion.
I'm back.
And
Why are we
though I
watching
can't
Elden
be of
Ring
any use
storyline
to you,
videos? Because
can I
I'm
hold
sick
you
and
tight?
I need Vadi to do my
If
work for
only
me.
for a moment.
My throat's been closing up. I still really wanted to stream. I just need to talk a little less. Besides, I know this is what we all
I
do
will
in
soon
reality
lay
while
with
we're in our
Godwin,
sketchbook, so
and it
I know
will
this isn't
surely
alien to
stir
anyone. I
within
know
you
all of y'all spend
the
all
new
your time
life of the
watching
Golden
YouTube
Prince
videos while you draw.
and first dead of
This
the
is true studio
demigods,
vibes right here.
as
This
the
is what we all
rune
do
of
anyway.
those who live in death. Please, do one thing for me. Brandish this child, my rune, and take for yourself the throne. Stay the persecution of those who live in death.
I was wondering what
by
programs you
becoming
use to animate your
our
Steven Zapata
Elden
cartoon comic
Lord.
series that I sometimes see you run commercials for on
This
your
is
channel.
goodbye, my
I just do
dear,
all of that in
but
Premiere
I am
because I don't know.
satisfied. I choose
know
to
After
lie with
Effects or
Godwin
anything
of
like
my own will.
It's just all basic
Not the
keyframes, just like
remains of
sliding
one chosen
layers
for
around
me.
and things like that. It's
And
nothing
I will
fancy.
bear a child who will inherit your warmth too. What greater blessing could there be but to be born a deathbed companion?
Now, Fia can fulfill her purpose and initiate a rebirth, a gestated rune that tells the broken story of those who live in death. So, Fia lies with Godwin, and she dreams. But it's within this dream that we realize that there is something lurking inside the Prince of Death, a being who, even after all this time, never once stopped fighting against the death in their companion. They are the last thing that stands between Godwin and his new life, and here they refuse to let go, for Godwin was a friend, and they were the great ancient dragon, Dread Fortisax.
Let this cup pass from me, Lord. ChatGPT sometimes looks like a being if it walks like a duck and sounds like a duck. It is not a being. It is technologically impossible for that technology to be sentient. It is a stochastic parrot, and it is tricking the world.
Finally, you can bring the entire
Props to
broken
Tim
curse
McEvery
mark
and her
itself
team for that
into
great
order.
phrase,
The
stochastic
mending
parrot.
rune of the Death Prince, which, enables his
It's like,
bastardization of life to become an official part
sentient.
of Death's
It's parroting
story.
back things that sentient beings have said.
But first, you have to burn down the Erd Tree.
It's just making you stare
and
into a mirror.
walk alongside Flame
and
to meet the
the
road
bad
of
branding
destined
around
death,
it and all the bad language
which
used.
leads to Faram
Just the
Azula,
lack of scrutiny is going
a
to
broken city,
make
floating
people
outside
treat
of
it in a
time.
way that they shouldn't, and that's very troubling.
And against all logic, Deathroot now grows here too. Turns out, nowhere is safe from its touch, even in Faram Azula, where the true Rune of Death is still protected by none other than Malakath, who masqueraded as Garank, so that you might feed him Deathroot and help him to achieve the one and only task that Marika saw fit to entrust him with.
Witness tarnished.
Witness
I
tarnished.
covered destined death. 'Tis no matter. I hereby vow that destined death shall not be stolen again. Cower before Malekith, Marika's black blade.
Hi, puppy. Who's a good girl? Who's a good little dog? Who's a good little dog? What is he, on your bed here? Where is he go? Hold on, I gotta move my dog's bed.
Why wouldst thou gull me? Why shatter?
Maybe she didn't want me to move her bed.
Ha! Prince of Death, take a good long look. See the wrath of the Golden Order, the Order's justice writ in blood. This is what's become of your precious witch. Look at this rotten whore. No more children can be got from this useless flesh.
Jesus.
This is a proper death, O Prince. Behold, your mother
Steven,
is
I'm sorry
dead.
you're sick. Thanks, Mel. I'm just recovering myself. Yeah, I mean, when the seasons change, first day of spring, it's like clockwork.
This is revenge, you witch. And you ghoul. This is
Always
the
comes around when
wrath
the
of
seasons
day.
change. And then once I'm better, I'm sure my allergies will kick in.
Hello. The rotten witch is dead.
One thing after another, one thing
The
after
Golden Order unsullied. Now I can look my brother Darien in the eye. Honeyed rays of gold, deliver my spirit. Darien, honeyed rays of gold. Ah. Don't you dare. Unless you want to die like a dog. Very well. Die. 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 Then you are a blight. A defiler of the Golden Order and murderer of my brother. I'll grind your corpse into the... Forgive me. Sorry.
So are you mostly playing Elden Ring in your spare time or just enjoy the lore? Yeah, I haven't been playing lately. I'll play again when the DLC comes out. I haven't played in a while.
As a deathbed companion, Fia had no choice but to lie with others, until the guidance of grace led her back to the lands between, where she used her chambers in the Round Table Hold to great effect, biding her time, listening to the secrets told to her in private, until she could use the strength of champions to speak for others, for the downtrodden, who had no champion. But soon they will.
Hey Steven, ever did an all-nighter where you were still in when you were still in college and then go to a class with like 30 minutes of sleep?
Please.
Yeah.
Do one thing for me.
I've done worse than that. I've done
Brandish
double
this
all-nighters.
child,
I had a
my
few
room,
occasions where I didn't sleep for 2 nights in a row.
Take for yourself the throne. Stay the persecution of those who live in death by becoming
Like zero
our
sleep,
Elden
2 nights in a row.
Lord.
And then when I did sleep, I slept
Fia
for
has finally
20
lain
hours
with the
straight,
remains
I think it
of
was.
one that she chose, so that she might
Don't do
gestate a new beginning, called the
It's not a-
Mending
not a
Rune
good
of
idea.
those who live in
Stupid,
death,
unhealthy.
a gift to the
But,
undead,
you know, I was
who were
young.
born at the very end of an age,
I was
Dusk
just a
Born.
boy.
before the sun rises once more, in a land where they no longer have to hide.
The fallen leaves tell a story of how a tarnished became Elden Lord. In our home, across the fog, the lands between, our seed will look back upon us and recall the age of the Duskborn.
Very cool. Wasn't that fun? Didn't really watch much of it, but sounded cool. Very cool sounding. Incredibly cool sounding. Cool sounding confirmed. Oh, now I could take my headphones off. My ears are out. My ears at full extension. Cooling my body by 6 degrees because so much blood flows through them. Extra surface area to cool my blood. What is this drawing you're working on? I do not know. I have no idea. I don't know what to tell you. I just draw whatever comes out. It is the unconscious doing the drawing. I make ad hoc confabulations to explain myself after the fact, but it is merely a demon which I do not control and with which I am unfamiliar, doing some sort of practice that I cannot explain. I have no idea what's going to come next. I don't know why I'm drawing what I draw. That Elden Ring thing was very cringy. A deeply unpopular opinion, but one that you are entitled to. Do you guys think the evaluation of cringe is some important contribution to society? I always worry about people who are sensitive to cringe or evaluate cringe. It's like, you just putting yourself in a box, man. One day you're going to want to do something cringe, and you're going to keep yourself from doing it because of your little made-up story about what's cringy and what's not. You'll truly be in a hell of your own making on that day. I feel a lot of time in the cringe realm myself, but also the world around me. Yeah, I don't know. Live music, dancing, and poetry, all cringe at times, yet necessary. Yeah, I think cringe is a useless, arbitrary feeling. I don't think people should pay attention to it. It's gonna do nothing but betray you. I don't know why I'm getting lag. Let me, might be pure F. What else do I have open? Quit that. Oh wait, shit, let me make sure I have the right display settings on, because that messes me up too. No, yeah, those are fine. Moyo with the €5. Thank you so much. Hey, Steven, thanks for our guidance of grace. Any plan to bring back your drawing workshops in the near future? Yeah, I want to do more direct training, but I think the next way I'm going to do that, I want to do some in-person stuff. I miss being around human beings. Joseph Marziliano. Good morning, all. Steve, how you feeling? I'm still alive. Did I ever tell Omar I was alive? I forgot he asked me if I was dead. I remember reading it. I was like, am I? I'm all right. My throat is most of the other symptoms have abated now, but my throat is still tight, which is not a symptom I usually get. But it's better than yesterday, so I must be sort of on the mend. Yesterday was bad. My throat felt really small all day. All right, perverts, take it easy. Take it easy, perverts. I know where you're going with that. Is Joe Italian? About as Italian as it gets. I would describe Joe's level of Italianness as like a primo italiano. I'd say Joe is sort of like abjectly Italian. In the way that only a New Yorker can be. Steven, what is your secret to not feel the cringe? I do still feel the cringe, I just don't care. What's the secret? It's like, ain't you been alive long enough? Ain't you been alive long enough to realize that it doesn't fucking matter what you think, you arrogant jerk? Who cares that someone, what could it matter that someone being themselves, that you react negatively, unconsciously, by the way, you didn't choose it. You're just being driven by your non-free will, totally random bullshit, right? What could it matter that this unselected random feeling that emerges in your gut is a reaction to what someone is doing that they perhaps enjoy, maybe love, that they're doing their best? It's like when you just remember the reality of what your cringe is, it's very easy to be like, oh, that's right, it doesn't matter. Who cares what I think? It was being an art teacher taught me that, because I naturally cringe from a lot of art. And it wasn't long before I realized that that is not a useful energy to bring to the students. If you want to help people, you have to not cringe from their work, no matter how much you find it personally distasteful, you know? Nice quiet day today in the studio. How's my voice? Loud enough? You're all good? Everybody's good? Everybody's feeling right about it? I don't sound echoey, do I? I sure hope all the goddamn moving blankets I surrounded myself with actually do something. Michael Schlater says, a cringe means you don't like something and better avoid it before getting a fit. Like throwing a fit? You personally? Baby stuff, man. It's such baby stuff. Letting your internal equilibrium be so completely destabilized by what other people are doing. That's baby stuff, man. Never gonna get through life like that. Do you like the idea of aliens existing? And your voice sounds good, dude. Good. Yeah, I like the idea of aliens existing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm one of those people that as soon as they land, you ain't got to worry about me. Don't worry about where I'm at. I'm out. I exited. I'm not living through an alien invasion. You ain't got to worry about me. But I do like the idea of them being out there. I just can't be involved with that stuff. I got to draw the line there. That's just some stuff I can't get involved with. I can't be getting probed, you know? I can't be getting fed to an undying machine that was whirling back when our ancestors were swinging from vine to vine in steamy jungles. Can't be doing that. That ain't me, man. Shout out to Jerry Holkins, writer of Penny Arcade. Always loved that line that he wrote. One of my great writing inspirations. It's got to say something about his writing ability that I'm pretty sure I remembered that line pretty accurately, and I probably haven't read it since I was 14 or something like that. That's got to say something about how good a person is at writing. But real aliens can be very cringy. All right, yeah, you got me there. Grays are cringe. Not the idea of grays, but real grays, if they are real. If fetoid gray aliens are actually real and come down in flying saucers, that's cringe. I'll be standing there on the White House lawn. I'll be like, that's cringe. That's absolutely cringe. Always a question of geological strata whenever you want to do a big rock. You're gonna have a hero rock like this, just go get reference. Don't try to make it up. Go find some famous bastard. Go find some bouldering rock that people are obsessed with. Make it some P9 difficulty kind of a thing. Good morning. The heck are you all saying? Cursed Fetus says that drawing is looking smooth. Watching you teach me a lot, bro. Really leveled up. I'm glad. I'm very glad. What if you are the key to break that machine, Steven? No way. It ain't me. It's not me. I'm getting fed. I'm getting fed for sure. I don't think I've got it in me. Steven, it's not your Commander Shepard. Yeah. Look, I got a lot of self-confidence. I believe in myself, but I also have a reasonable picture of myself. I know where to draw the line. And alien invasion is definitely where I draw the line. I just know, man. It's like, that's not where I thrive, dog. Do you think dreams mean something spiritually, or that's baloney? I think they can mean things for you personally. I don't personally think dreams come from like elsewhere. I don't think they're like messages being sent by archangels or whatever. But they're some of the most interesting things in existence, and there's an experience so shared and common that we don't really think about them. But dreams are weird. They're so weird. They indicate so much about the nature of reality and consciousness. And I mean, there's a lot to be said about dreams. So I think they, even before the specific contents of what's in any particular dream, they already mean something as a fact of existence, I think. I mean, they show that, you know, you can have sensory experiences outside of direct stimulation from the consensus reality of the, you know, material world that we all live in. It's like those sensory experiences are as convincing as the ones that you have when you're awake. That's pretty fascinating, you know? So that to forget any content or messages, that like their most profound meaning is almost just already built into that, you know? If you really pay attention to your dreams, they also reveal things like how, you know, emotions and content are sort of separated. You know, your dreams can trick you into associating any particular emotional cocktail with any particular content, you know, like you just see an apple on a table and you know in the dream that that's your grandfather's apple and you're horrified of it or something like that. And it's just like the fact that that's possible is super, super interesting, and I think indicates a lot about the narratives and stories that we tell ourselves while we're awake as well. Neil Kowalkowski says, Zapata, you big juicy marshmallow. That's right, baby. Put me over the fire and roast me. Come on, man. Put me on a stick and roast me. I'm just a marshmallow, baby. Just a yummy, puffed up piece of sugar. I've heard that birds that use dreams at a young age to take their father's... What? I've heard that birds use dreams at a young age to take their father's mating calls and over time create different variations, and by the time they're sexually mature, they have a unique mating call. Stop thinking so much about how birds fuck, man. Sick of you perverts. Art perverts. Always thinking about how birds get down. That's all I ever hear about, how birds get down. Every time I put on one of those nature documentaries, it's like they say like, oh, planet Earth, we're going to look at the most fascinating animals from all over the world and the way that they're dealing with climate change and the encroachment of humanity in cities. And then you actually watch the show and half of it is just birds fucking. It's just bird porn. It's just weird birds going like... You want to have sex now? You want to have sex now? It's just that, over and over again. It's like, stop showing me this. Stop showing me this. Stop it. Stop it, David Attenborough. Degenerate pervert. Just go millions of dollars to go around the world. Just film bird porn. Sick of this. Yeah, documentaries are cool. The older I get, the more I watch those. Yeah, well, you know, reality is exciting, so. I mean, reality is the best. I mean, it's wilder than anything anyone's gonna make up. Don't worry. She moved to the bed. My dog moved over to the bed. She's over here to my right. Right next to my scanner on the ground. She's a good little dog, man. That's a good little pup. There should be a TV show for artists, some speed art contest or what. With everything else, it works fine. Singer, musicians, dancers, but we artists, I don't know. I've been on an art reality show, like competition. I went to do an art battle game show in Japan. It doesn't work. Just art takes too much longer than everything else. There's only so good a piece of art can get in. Even giving artists 20 minutes to draw is, that's stretching the audience's patience. And you can barely draw anything good in 20 minutes unless you're sort of really pre-preparing and stuff like that. It's just not a super compelling thing to watch unless you're an artist yourself and you're watching somebody that you're super impressed by, like all of you are, obviously. Obviously. Confirmed that everybody in here is super impressed by me. Let me just bask in my glory for a second. Yeah, it doesn't really work. And art's just too subjective, you know? There's no objective way to evaluate art. And by art, I mean drawing. Other art forms, obviously, that they've been able to. You know, they've got that show Best in Glass. Is that what it's called? No, Blown Away is the glass blowing show. Best in Glass was the name that my wife and I came up with, that we were like, we think that's a better name. It should have been called Best in Glass. Do you think collabs are necessary for growing? I've never collaborated with anyone on anything. And it's up to you if I've grown. When I say I've never collabed with anyone on anything, I mean just like in the social media sense. I've worked with people and even worked on people's files and fixed things and stuff like that at work a lot, of course. But if you consider that a collab, then yes, I've done that. I've picked up a lot of notes in my life. Are we back to the goblin village? Always back to goblins. I mean, this is the dream. This is what we all want to do. We all just want to draw goblins and somehow integrate that into our lives. I'm just living the dream, baby. This is why I got in the game, baby. Lloyd Kuja says, Daddy Zapata? Where's that? Don't give me that. Stop commenting daddy down in my post, man. I've yet to draw a single goblin. What's wrong with you, dude? What is wrong with you, man? What's wrong with you, man? Dude, what is wrong with you, man? The fuck? I wish I'd never read that. The fuck? Holy God, I didn't know people like you existed. That's disgusting. Never drawn a single goblin? What the? Get away from me. Get away from me and my family. Not one? God, geez. Ugh. I'm gonna throw up. Hold on, I'm gonna... No, I'm all right. Okay, I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right. Are you into Goblin Gang or are you more of a Shadow Wizardry Money Gang school? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't know what any of that means. Jesus, I don't know what any of that means. Holy God. I think I need to close this off more. It doesn't make sense that this thing wouldn't have seen them if this area over here was open off to the right. So I think I got to kind of close this area off. So maybe this is like, there's like another big rock coming up towards us. I can't even draw people yet, but I draw a gnome once. That's kind of a goblin, right? Get the fuck out of here. Leave now. Leave now before I ban you. Gnome is the same as a goblin. That's some kind of, you think that's funny? That's some kind of joke to you? That's supposed to be funny? Fuck out of here. We don't play with stuff like that around here. This is serious, man. This is people's lives we're talking about. I've drawn elves. Those are kind of goblins, right? All right, I get it. I get it. You're all... I get it. I get it. You're all fucking with me. All right. I get it. Real funny. Joke's on Steven. Joke's on Steven. Haha. Wow. Oh, we got him. Nah, we got him. Steven's so stupid. Nah. Real funny. Nice. Have fun all. Hi, Stephen. I love your art and can't wait to get your course. Oh, thank you, Luis Felipe. That's extremely kind. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to let the whole thing run because I want to keep drawing. Oh, man. Oh, what's that? You get the course? I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do it. You're all right. It's all right. We're back. We're back. They were playing that song at my local Starbucks. That's funny. I hope you had a Pavlovian reaction to Get the Course. You a tea or coffee person? Coffee, usually. I've been drinking more and more tea these days because I'm trying to reduce my caffeine consumption. Either low caffeine or decaf teas. I gotta sip something other than water, you know? I gotta sip something brown, vaguely brown. I remember getting told by my art teacher, I can't and nobody can draw from imagination. He got so pissed when I told him I don't want to copy paste others' work. Pure ignorance. Nobody can draw from imagination? Kind of weak philosophical position is that? That's susceptible to new evidence, my friend. You literally just need to get shown one drawing to prove that that's not true. And what kind of art teacher has never seen like Michelangelo drawings and things like that? It's clear Michelangelo's drawing from imagination. Not all the time, but if you look at his notebooks and him laying out compositions, it's clear all those little sketches were done. It'd be weird if he did them with a model in front of him. And it's clear that all of his chops are there, that he knows the anatomy, that he knows the structure, that he knows how to play with a figure. It's just dumb. Yeah, it's dumb. But there's no lack of dumb art teachers out there. Definitely not me. Not me. I'm smart art teacher, for sure. JD Maitland says, LOL, the first thing my high school art teacher said when we walked into his class is we're not allowed to draw figures, horses, dolphins, etc. Anything representational or from a photo. Yeah, I don't... How do these people get teaching positions? I mean, as an art religious zealot, I take it very seriously, and I literally think that those people are... They think it's all fun and games. They're like, what? I'm just teaching some art in the classroom. From where I'm sitting, I'm not joking. I wish I wasn't joking, but this is how much of a freak I am. I actually think those people are hurting people. They're actually hurting people when they do that. And when they take weird stances like that and try to control people's creativity like that, I think they're hurting people. Like, they would be so upset if I ever sat down with them. Like, if I could walk into that school and get them into the teacher's lounge, they would be totally blindsided by me sitting down with them across the table and being like, I know you think you're doing a good thing, and I understand that there's nothing more painful than when we're doing things with good intentions and it turns out that that is actually negative, but I need you to know that everything that you've bent your life towards is net negative and you're hurting people in some of the most profound ways possible. It's not like, you know, them getting into a scrap on the street or fighting with somebody or having an argument with a friend. You're hurting them in a way that's going to fuck them up possibly for decades before they learn to deprogram the silly, unscrutinized bullshit that you put in their head. You're really hurting them, and you need to stop. They would be so blindsided by how seriously I feel about that. It makes me laugh when I think about how seriously I feel about that. It makes me laugh when I think about it. I came at a weird time. That is not a weird time. That's the best time. Anytime we're not talking about stuff like that, that's the weird time. Stephen, how did the interactions and feedback work on your course? You post the assignments and I give feedback. It looks like this. This is the back of house community for the course. So there's all these channels. There's a different room for each assignment, or a little thread for each assignment. But people post their assignments. This one was just posted. Nice. Very nice, Sean. Damn. Very nice. Damn. Very nice. But people post their work. You could do a little write-up, say what you went through, stuff like that. And then I pop in here, see, that's me. And I give feedback. You know, sometimes it's like, well, just you did great. You know, I really don't have much in the way of notes. Sometimes it's stuff like this. People say they struggle with a lot of things. I do a complete draw over, complete transformation, feedback, trying to meet people on their level, figure out what they're headed towards, stuff like that. So you see people post, I fix, draw over, say what's good, say what's bad. Creative sphere assignment. Steps if I do some pretty heavy overhauls. Sometimes people just need writing, you know, sometimes I wind up writing these little goddamn essays to explain things. These are really nice, huh? And Kurt's sketchbook post. Really nice ballpoint pen drawings. Matt Glacier's Harley. Good stuff, man. Matt's lighting is getting so much better. See, that's good understanding of the forms right there. Doing it with the uplighting. Good job, Matt. Here I did a redraw. Sometimes the draftsmanship is just the big problem, so I sort of just redraw it from scratch, just sort of showing like, this is how I would draw it. And then Carl actually went in and he used my note and actually redid it. I think it looks much better like that. Nice. So that's what it looks like. That's how the feedback works. Those are all your students. Those are great. Yeah, people are doing a very good job. The overall quality goes up the longer the course has been out, it seems. Because they also have, as time goes on, you know, you get access to that community. They also have access to all the past feedback as well. So people are clearly reading all of the past feedback on all of the, because it's like, all right, I shouldn't have closed that. Just to show. So this contributes to the fact that the quality is going up as time goes on. Let's say you're starting on the cylinder, right? You click into the cylinder page and look at how many examples there are with my notes on all the examples. I have fixed countless cylinders, written hundreds, thousands of words fixing cylinders and doing drawovers and making diagrams and things like that. So people not only have the explanation video, which is already very in-depth, but then when they start on the assignment, they get to read all of this feedback, which they probably couldn't even read all, they get drunk off of it. So the overall quality of each assignment is going up as time goes on. So it goes beyond the assignments. They also post other stuff and personal work. Yeah, they do. And they comment on each other's stuff in there. These days, it's a lot of work for me to get through all that feedback. So my number one priority for stuff to comment on is, of course, the assignments. But I do jump in on people's personal stuff and say if anything stands out or if I just think they did an exceptionally good job or if they're... I also know a bit of sort of what they're heading towards from like their... introductory posts and things like that. So I can see what if it seems like they're really heading towards the actual creative stuff that they want to do. I try to emphasize in the course that you shouldn't spend more than half of your time doing the assignments in the course, that you should be doing creative work with at least half of your time. I think that's the most efficient way to study, as many of you have heard me say ad nauseum. Give an example as to what your feedback sounds like. I showed it. Y'all saw it. Some teachers just putted me in my class in front of the canvas and do nothing for the rest of the day. Worst 4 years of my life. Yeah, that ain't it, Chief. Wait, what is that? What platform is that? The platform is Kajabi. It's just a sort of premium class hosting site. lets you host a lot of videos and organize them into different modules and things like that. Top-notch course, to be honest. Thank you, Luis. Imagine taking the course of the joy of the course away and replacing it with AI. I refuse to imagine it. Join in the course next month. We'll be happy to have you. Do you have Instagram, Stephen? I do. It should be linked in the description of the video somewhere down at the bottom of the description. I haven't posted to it much lately. I have an Instagram. I have a bunch of followers on there, but just to be honest, like YouTube is much more my platform for the kind of work that I do and for the kind of artist I am. You know, like my finicky, detailed little drawings, they weren't really meant to be seen 1.5 inches across on a phone screen, you know? I tend to just post on Instagram in waves. So I build up a big backlog of images and then I just schedule them to post like every day for a few weeks and then I go silent again. Feels like the picture is leaning to the left. That's because of these primary lines here and here. There's nothing quite offsetting them. And I've cheated the verticals to lean slightly to the left, so that's not helping. That's not necessarily bad. It does add a bit of dynamics to the picture, but I need to offset it with something. So we get a holding line there. This one doesn't need to be leaning this way. I can break this off in the opposite direction to get an opposing diagonal. I can straighten these trees a bit. Oh, come on. Any true Photoshop freaks know. Always turn your rulers off. For some reason, they make Photoshop go slightly slower. The true freaks know. They know it's true. Hey, Redacted. What's up? Estoy bien, estoy bien. Are you planning on making a discount on your course in the future? I'm really tempted to enroll in it. The content you put online is really cool, Stephen. I did do a sale last year around Black Friday, and I think I will do that again. I think I will do that again this November. I know that's a ways off, but the thing about the course is that you guys saw the feedback that I showed. It takes up a huge amount of my time. It's just... It's extremely demanding time-wise. So it's really difficult for me to discount it because I need each sale. With each sale, I need to be willing to commit to giving each person who buys it. You know, if you do all the assignments in the course, it's 30 assignments. I need to be able to commit to giving them 30 serious feedbacks. And on some pretty difficult stuff as things go on. So it's very hard for me to discount the course, you know? It's just because it's not like just a product that then people take away with them. It's like I'm involved with it. So I I've done sales before. I don't have any planned right now. And they're always going to be more limited just because it's just not feasible for me to discount it a lot or regularly and then keep onboarding tons of people that I have a feedback commitment to. I have been considering making a no feedback version available, which would be cheaper, of course, significantly cheaper, just because so many people have been asking and wanting some other option. But I don't know yet when I would do that. I'm not totally committed to doing that yet. I think feedback is very, very important. What is a freak exactly, says Mizubi. I think I'm seeing that out of context. Did you talk about that somewhere else? I don't know what you mean. Love from Ireland, Stephen. Thank you, Emmanuel Godson. The Redacted Computer says, I remember seeing your video dealing with jealousy of other artists, and it opened my mind. It's true. I don't know what those artists have been through to reach that, so I worry less and am more confident. Good. I'm glad. That was the intent. And it's true. It's completely true. Okay, I understand, says Luis. Thank you for clearing that out. I would want the feedback course for sure. You give so much good insights. Yeah. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. You know, I think the feedback is very, very important. I've always believed, anyone who's taken my workshop or anything like that, they've heard me say that I think for education, if you're going to do any form of education, you should always spring for something that has feedback, just because it's, you know, you need to get shaken out of your ruts and you need to get other eyes on art in order to improve at it with some alacrity, or with some celerity. So it's always how I imagined doing it, and it's how I prefer to work. But yeah, it's a double-edged sword, because yeah, I just don't have that much flexibility for discounting it because of that. You know, there's only so much I can do. How do you come up with such crazy art ideas? I'm just a crazy dude. What can I say? I'm LOL twisted, brother. I'm edgy, man. I'm just crazy. I'm wow. Bohemian artist for sure. These are not that. My honest answer is that I don't think these ideas are that crazy. I mean, we've all seen plenty of stuff like this, you know, and there's lots of media out in the world that deals with monsters and goblins and fantasy situations and things like that. I don't think these ideas are all that crazy. Let's lean a log going the other way this way. Actually, let me just do that without value. Sorry, feeling sick the past few days. Your audio quality is great. What mic you're using? Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I do get a little worried and obsessive about audio quality in a way that I don't about my art itself for some reason. I'm glad you think it's great. This is the Rode NT-G5. It's a shotgun mic. I use a shotgun because I can put it further away when I do certain streaming setups, like when I'm doing paper and I have my overhead rig on my desk. And also when doing paper, I don't want like this microphone right in my face, like taking up half of my field of vision. It gives me much more flexibility using the shotgun mic, because then I can just boom it over my head and it still sounds pretty good. You know, it doesn't have the intense proximity effect of like a typical podcasting microphone. So that's why I use a shotgun. Have you felt you've ruined your drawing when painting them? Always happens to me. Oh yeah, yeah. I think that's a curse for, I think that might be a permanent curse for anyone who does considerable work on the drawings and then tries to paint them. I'm not sure that can ever be perfectly resolved, you know, just because drawings and paintings just live in different worlds to a certain extent. I wish perfect health to you, Zapata. I'm healthy now! It worked. Thank you so much. I feel amazing now. Thank you, Arknark. Arknark. Thank you, Arknark. Arknark, you saved us. What would we have done without you, Arknark? What recommendations can you give us to make or how to make a portfolio and where to post it or show it to get potential customers? It depends on your niche. The first step is to always try to know your niche, what audience you're trying to go for. Like, who is this portfolio for? Portfolio means so many different things. Is it for a company? Is it for, you want to get commissions just from normal people? Things like that. If you can get really clear on that, then it kind of writes itself where you should put your portfolio and things like that. If it's for a particular kind of company, try to make your portfolio look as much like their stuff as you can, and then start sending it in. Maybe they have an open submission website, an open submission email on their website, or you can try to get a hold of art directors at conventions. You can try to get a hold of art directors at conventions or through Twitter or something like that, LinkedIn even. And, you know, with a lot of emotional intelligence, send them the portfolio. Don't pester them, but, and be confident that if they saw it, if there's any way to see that they saw it and they don't respond, you can usually be pretty sure that it wasn't a showstopper. You know, it could always get better. Because, dude, if a portfolio's good enough, no matter how busy someone is, if it's really amazing, they will take a moment to be like, look, I really don't have the time. I just need you to know you're fucking awesome. This is good. And then they'll at least leave you with that. I've never gotten a portfolio that was genuinely great where I didn't, because usually I don't have time to respond to messages and to portfolio review requests. But when someone sends an amazing one, I will always hammer out at least just so you know, you're ready. And then I'm out of there, you know? Like, I can't help you. I can't give you a job, but I just need you to know that you're ready so that you can get serious about getting out there and stuff like that. Should I consider reopening my ArtStation, or is it better to move to another platform? Again, depends on the niches. If you're asking about the AI part, that's a sort of risk evaluation you've got to take on your own. ArtStation has said that they're worried about AI stuff. I know the CEO of Epic has expressed some worry now, which is probably a good sign. But I think you still need to choose to opt out, which I find a little odd. I don't know. It's a risk evaluation you've got to make on your own. Maybe check out Glaze, consider glazing your images before you post them. Because, I mean, ArtStation in particular is going to get crawled a lot by these AI things. How often does the amazing one happen? It's pretty rare. I have to admit, it's pretty rare. I mean, most people whose stuff is great, they know it. They don't need to be told. You know, every now and then you get someone who's, you know, insecure enough or has been made delusional enough by problems in their life that they need some reassurance. But most people who have really great work, they, you know, they're looking at it too, and they have good taste for art. So at a certain level, if your work's great, you know it, you know? What is the weirdest art medium you've tried? Well, it may seem banal now, but VR. I mean, you know, we've all sort of, you know, we're familiar with it now, so it doesn't seem strange or exciting, but the idea of making art in VR is pretty wild, right? I mean, that's deeply weird. I was on it pretty early. I was using Tilt Brush back in like 2015, something like that. I'd convinced my workplace to get a HTC Vive developer kit, and they put it in this big room upstairs, and I used to just dip out from my desk for like 3 hours at a clip. And I would just be upstairs in this room that no one could, in this tent that no one could find me in, messing around in VR. And I'd come back downstairs for like the last 2 hours of the day and do all my work in 2 hours. The benefits of being fast. Do you know about Verve Painter from Taran? I do not. There's a painting app, like a, you know, a VR painting app instead of sculpting, called Vermilion that I've been meaning to try. I have it installed. I poked at it for a minute just to see the UI and stuff like that, but I haven't actually sat down and like tried to work with it. I got to make some time for that. I just want to see what that's like. It's like there's like a canvas in front of you and you like mix paint for real. Steven, if you don't mind, based from your experience, how prevalent are imposter syndrome or Dunning-Kruger effect in professional artist circles? Is one notably more widespread than the other? There's very little Dunning-Kruger in the professional capacity. I mean, you can't, it's the proof is in the pudding, you know? I mean, it's very, it's like in art, fortunately, and this is one of the reasons a lot of us like art or got attracted to it as an industry in the first place. It's just like, you can't fake it. You can either make good images or you can't, you know? So there's very little Dunning-Kruger. That doesn't mean that there isn't like nepotism and stuff like that in art. Like, it's still true that between two vaguely equal artists, or even just a small skill gap, someone with some sort of nepotistic leaning will tend to get the job over the other person, or people hire their friends and stuff like that. All that stuff still happens, but not to the level that people who can't make the images are getting jobs. Do you get what I'm saying? So Dunning-Kruger is very rare in professional art circles, especially in design. Design is hardcore. I mean, the people who do it are freaks. They're very hard jobs to get, and very desirable and stuff like that. So almost everybody is genuinely good at it who works in design. That doesn't mean everybody's work is to everybody's taste, but once you meet these people and hang out with them, I mean, yeah, there's very rare to encounter someone where you're like, how'd you get this job? You suck, you know? You might think that on like one gig because they wound up doing something that's not really their cup of tea. But then, you know, the next gig will come around, or the next project will roll through, and then suddenly they'll be doing their specialty, and you'll be like, oh, I see, I get it. Imposter syndrome, very, very prevalent, but that's just a personal problem that almost has nothing to do with the job, you know? Imposter syndrome is just lack of self-esteem and just, you know, never feeling right in the world. It's really barely to do with work. Imposter syndrome is just like a deep existential dread, I think. Or perhaps a bit of insight into the fact that, you know, and we made all this shit up. None of this is real. How did the St. Patty's Day party go? It went well. Definitely stress tested the apartment. Since this apartment's bigger than our last one, we had a bunch of people coming over, and I was like, are we going to be able, is everybody going to fit? And then once they were all over, we were like, we could have fit twice as many people in here. Crazy. That's not, I don't live in a huge place. That is more a comment about how small my last place was, and not less of a comment on how big this one is. Pretty cozy for a New York apartment, though. It's hard to find anything that's more open. And yeah, we had fun. It was a good time. I was still eating cupcakes from it last night. Just stuffing my little fat boy mouth with some little cupcakes, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what I'm saying. You know I like to stuff my little fat boy lips with a little bit of cupcakes, baby. A little bit of cupcakes for the old SB. Verve Painter is very nice and also small program. You can simulate fluids in it, and in my opinion, it's also the best in drawing oil colors. Interesting. Interesting. I'm gonna consider checking that out. I haven't had a lot of sandbox time lately. I value my sandbox time very much, and just as life has gone on, I'm very low on sandbox time. I made a note for Verve Painter. The AI stuff, too, has really taken up a lot of time. Just a lot of background AI stuff. Be more careful there. Nick says, man, I love talking art. Me too, homie. Me too, J-Slice. Me too, Nickioni Ravioli. Me too, Me too, Scooby-Doo-Bop-Bop-Bop-Bop-Bo. Have you ever made Rule 34 art? No. I find it mystic how artists use grayscales like that. I should use them more. Gray's great. I love gray. You know, a pencil drawing is just a grayscale drawing. Louis says, Steven, I've been struggling to keep consistent on trying to get a living just by art and graphic design in a freelance way without letting burnouts affect me much. Do you have any tips to ignore it? To ignore burnout? Do not ignore burnout. If you hit true burnout, take a break. Take a profound and deep break. I don't think you should ignore burnout. I don't think it's a good idea to sort of aggressively push through burnout. Maybe some people think that's not a super cool thing to say, or that sometimes, I mean, sometimes you just gotta, get, 13-year-old boy energy and just be like, I'm gonna do it no matter what. But it's like you can really only run off of adrenaline like that for so long before it destroys you and makes it impossible for your significant other to deal with you and things like that. There's going to be some rare occasions in life where that's appropriate, but even if the situation is appropriate for it, you're going to have to deprogram it later, you know? I just generally don't think it's a good idea. If you have found yourself burnt out, it must be a symptom of failures done along the way. You didn't manage your stress well enough. You didn't build in enough breaks. You didn't take enough time to do things that relax you, that you find joyful. You didn't maintain relationships, talk to your friends, things like that. That is always the case if you have found yourself at the moment of burnout. You know, there's always a series of conditioning factors leading up to it. So I think it's more important to look back on those things and address them and realize what they are, rather than just try to be Goku and push through it. Because those problems are just going to be there whenever you finish that arc, and then the next time you need to go hard again, you're just going to make the same fucking mistakes again. What do you think of porn art? Porn art as one word is funny. It's not for me. You know, it's not something I've ever been very compelled to draw. But that, you know, I just don't think about it a lot. It's not really something that has intersected with my practice or my thoughts on art very much. What I usually say here, because it's one of the few opinions that I think I accurately hold on that kind of stuff, is that you're in good company. I mean, it's probably the first form of art. You know, the first things ever scrawled on a cave wall were probably, let's call it a fetish figure, and there was a bison next to it or something like that. So you're in good company. I mean, it's been around since the beginning. Yeah. As to what it means or if it's advisable, it's like I'm not saying that it being around forever really indicates anything about those evaluations you might make of it, but it's a tale as old as time. Too busy with bird porn. Yeah, I don't think about drawing porn. I'm just too busy sitting around thinking about how these birds seduce each other. I'm too busy marveling at how this little pervert brings a particularly nice piece of tinsel into his horny bower and uses it to seduce a girl bird while he shakes his ass all crazy. And she titters her little feathers. She's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Damn, dude. I gotta say, I've seen a lot of birds do the dance lately, but you got something special going on. Where'd you get that tinsel? Thinking I'm moving in, yeah? I think I'm moving in. Oh, you think you're something special, huh? Let me see those feathers, boy. Flash me that blue thing under your throat. Oh, oh. That's nice. No, that's nice. Goblin bird porn art critique classes soon on the Zapata channel. That's all this is. That's all it ever was. What do you suggest for me as someone who hits a brick wall progressing in art skills? I don't see any improvements in a long time. What's a long time? And how good are you already? If we all hit areas of diminishing returns, you know, like I know for me personally, I've been doing this so long and I've practiced so much stuff that for me, improvement is glacial, you know? The improvements that I get from a year of drawing are incremental, you know, very, very minimal. You know, there's definitely areas of diminishing returns for improvement. So don't be too hard on yourself if you've been doing it for a long time. You got to be patient. I think for most people, it's like you think you've been doing it for a long time, but it really hasn't been all that long. And you think you've been drawing a lot, but you really haven't been drawing that much. You know, if you're really focused on improvement, like you got to draw a lot, like a lot. And if you're not in a life position to draw a lot right now, just be patient with yourself. Be patient. Don't worry about it too much because it's only going to mess you up to obsess about it, to obsess about improvements that you're kind of making that shit up. You know, you're being like, oh, there's all these improvements that I should have had that I haven't been making. It's like, prove it. Prove it. It's like, that's all a story you're telling yourself at a certain level. Where are these counterfactual improvements that are nowhere to be seen? Take them out. Show them to me. Like 15 years maybe, I can't seem to draw hands and feet still. Well, those are always hard. But yeah, that's, if you've been drawing for 15 years, you're probably just in the painful area of diminishing returns. So you're going to have to be even more patient with yourself to get through it. This reminds me, I got to brush my dog's teeth today. She looked at me when I said that. She was like, Where John says, like listening to you and David Raposa whenever I draw. I'm a good company. Dave's good stuff. Dave is good stuff. Thank you. Thank you, Ray John. Oh man, my throat. Throat's closing, folks. Hey, Stephen, what is your experience with wolf animal anatomy? I read that it's easier to learn after you understand how human anatomy works. With wolf anatomy specifically, not much, but I have studied a bit, not super in-depth, animal anatomy. I had a comparative animal anatomy course back in college with Rey Bustos, Reynaldo, and that was a good introduction to animal anatomy, comparative anatomy, and some of the resources there. And it is much better once you know human anatomy. We learned them either side by side, or we learned human anatomy first. It's just you're much more familiar with human anatomy, so it's easier to grasp just on an intuitive level. Whereas you're like completely unfamiliar with like what the heck a horse looks like. So when someone tells you like, oh, the withers on a horse are the two scapula riding high, you're like, the fuck, you know? Like you need some sort of grounding in human anatomy just to have something to frame it against. Stephen, hello, Chibi. Stephen, you once made a video called Unwise Motivations in Art. What do you think is the most unwise motivation to get into art? Is there even something that ranks above all? No. Yeah, I would be slow to say there's like a most unwise motivation. It's not that there's like a list of possible motivations that they can be put in a hierarchy. It's from person to person. Like, for each individual person with their own temperaments and their inclinations, there's going to be some motivations that are unwise and some that are wise. But let's say getting into the art for money or continuing to do it for money, which is a stupid idea in the first place. But if we take that as an example, just because it might be one that would be easy to label as negative, there's some people who just, the needs of what would make them the most money aligns with what they want to do anyway, just by chance, just with their, just from their temperament and their inclinations and the things that they're interested in. So for them, I don't think money would be an unwise motivator, just because it's not knocking them off course from the things that they want to do anyway. But then for another artist who is interested more in things that are not, you know, super popular or salacious or anything like that, money would be a very unwise motivation because it will constantly be diverting them from the thing that would fulfill them the most. So it's not about there being some sort of set list of what's a good idea and what's a bad idea. It's just an evaluation that you need to get honest with yourself about what's wise and what's unwise. There's some that I would be... There's probably only 5 people in the world for whom it would be a wise motivation. Like, for example, to defeat a rival or to stunt on other people. It's like that seems as close to me as what would be universally an unwise motivator to do art, even though a lot of people play with that throughout their careers. But even with that, it's like, I can still imagine 5 people, you know, I do, it's probably the right thing for somebody. So. It's just hard for me to imagine that. Drawing to save the world. Probably not a bad motivator, really. Maybe a naive, beautifully foolish one, but probably not bad as far as motivators go. And now this is not going to work out. I don't want this on all the We're going to make a multiply normal layer. Normalio. Normal layered. It's hard to do it just because I love it, even though I do. I know. It's because art's not easy. I mean, it's a difficult thing to do. Even if you love it, there's always something easier to do. A lot of the time. The interesting thing is that if you center yourself carefully and you align with your core values, which requires a lot of action, you know, requires controlling what jobs you take, what tasks you undergo, controlling your mentality. I mean, this is quite a big ask that I'm making, but if you get all those things right, you don't do things for bad reasons, and you're aligned with your core values in your art making, and you sort of, like I said, maintain mindfulness, you actually can abide in the space where you realize that art is actually effortless and there's nothing difficult about it. The problem is that it's very difficult to maintain that because it's difficult to maintain mindfulness. But so when you lapse out of mindfulness, you keep telling yourself the story about it being difficult and hard to do, and so you lose energy, you get tired, other things seem easier to do. But when you're in the right place, when you've sort of carefully modulated that meditative zone, even the most difficult drawing reveals itself to be pure pleasure and requiring no energy. And then that's where you get into the space where you realize that, you know, for example, in that space, you will realize that making art is easier than playing video games and more fun. It's more fun and easier than playing video games, even if you're doing something very hard. Normalio is the unremarkable cousin of Super Mario. That's funny. Oh, you think you're real funny, don't you, Nick? Normalio. Don't need these background trees to be so high contrast with these lines, so just erasing them, getting them out of my life. John GDDR5 says, Steven, I'm hoping to get back to your rendering course after I move out in a few months. Don't you worry about it, John. You take your time. You focus on what you need to do. You focus on moving. Slow ride. Take it easy. I'm sorry for all the throat clearing, folks. Just been feeling under the weather. Man, this sickness was worse. Was the worst 2 days ago. I was peaking 2 days ago, and I was doing my taxes that day, all day. That was rough. Doing taxes while sick, bummer. Don't say the name of the course or its cinematic cutscene starts. Good, I've got you all on your toes, man. Now you're all worried. I like that. You never know when the course is going to strike. Like maybe right now? Just kidding. It would be too obvious. It'd be too on the nose. I'm not going to do that to you. Nobody expects the course. Do you like graffiti sticker art on the streets? No, that's not my... I mean, I don't dislike it. It's just not something I think about. Not a kind of art I'm into. Just like anybody else, I'm impressed whenever I see like a huge mural or something that's really good. I'm like, whoa, dope. I respect the people who do it though. That's got a whole other set of like societal challenges, like sneaking around and doing it in front of people, and it's just got a very different social aspect to it that I gotta respect, you know? It's not something I could ever see adding on to my practice. That I do find that pretty impressive that they do that. Kind of like tattooing. It's like, I could never do that. I can't imagine touching another person while I draw, you know? And just feeling like, you know, I gotta speed this up. Like every second is like really, it's really affecting this person. It's hard to dedicate full time on art when you only have people admiring it and not buying. What tips do you have to make it without selling my soul to a company that doesn't care about any art? That's hard. I mean, I think everybody needs to find their own path with that, as much as it may sound like a cop-out. Because, yeah, it is very hard to get people to buy art. You've got to make it exciting for them, you know? And in this day and age, there's both a lot of demands for how you would make it exciting for people and a lot of opportunities. So you got to look at like involving your personality in it or something like that. You know, you've got to make it super topical. You know, none of these things excludes the other. You know, you can pick some and not do others and things like that. But if you want to make money off of art without sort of piggybacking off of the cultural clout that something else has generated, like a company or an IP or something like that, it's super difficult. It's super difficult. You've got a hell of a task ahead of you. I'm not going to make it sound easy when it definitely is not, you know? And you got to take the difficulty of that endeavor very, very seriously. Few people have it in them. Very few people have it in them to do that. You got to work hard and you got to be ingenious. You can't be like a mediocre or halfway artist and pull that off. You've got to be a fucking artist. You know, you've got to be like clever, smart. You've got to know that you need to show the audience what they didn't know they wanted. You need to surprise them, shock them, impress them. Like, you've got to be all the way, you know? You got to be crafty, cunning, shrewd. You're not gonna, that's that particular artistic goal, living off of it without, just off of your own thing, without companies involved or other IPs or things like that. It's just like, yeah, you've got to be a true artist. You know, you've really got to work hard for it, and you've got to make it magical for them, or else it's never going to work. Oh yeah. Oh, that's it. That's where my body's breaking. That's exactly the spot. Oh, yes. Oh. Oh, that's good. Mmm. Mmm. Man, I love your answers. I'm glad they could help. Truly. Means all the risk and all the reward, but for a long time it's going to be mostly risk, for real. It ain't easy. Where's my leaf brushes? Beard scratching ASMR. Ascending Storm says, long-time supporter here, first-time live gazing. So happy to have you, Ascending Storm. Let me sing you a beautiful song in my sick voice. Ascending Storm, long-time supporter, first-time live gazer, but a long-term supporter. He supports and gives good vibes. All right, I'm going to stop there. Sometimes I just need to do that to clear out some viewers. It's like there's too many people watching. Way too many people watching. Need to thin the herd a bit. I don't know if I actually want to do. It's like, oh, it's raining. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Rest in peace, throat. I know my throat's closing, but I can't help but sing. I cannot help but sing. Daydream believer, or a homecoming queen. I kind of had that vibe to it. Steven, do you have any recommendations for artist chairs and desks for drawing specifically, looking for quality and ergonomics? Nope. I'm the wrong guy to ask for that. I draw on a $50 catering table that I bought from an office supply store. And my chair is the bottom of the line office chair from the same office supply store. Not bottom of the line, but it's a $100 chair. It's not some $2,000 gamer chair or something like that. I might get one of those though. It could happen. We all just need our first disaster, you know, a little bit of a health problem to motivate me into it, you know. Even though I know it's a good idea, you know, we all gotta wait for a little bit, you know, little doctor's visit to stimulate the old purchase of a fucking $3,000 Eames chair or something like that. We all know what it's about. We all know. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. You think you can deceive me? You can't. I know what it's all about. We all need it. Just a little bit of an Eames chair purchase. Steven, any sites you know to get good refs? Depends on what you need refs for. You need good Google Foo. I don't know if I like this layer of foliage here. Yeah, I'll just keep it lower. Do a little shrubbery. Classic shrubbery shapes. I bought a Herman Miller Mira 2 last year. Best 1K I ever spent. I'll take it under advisement. Favorite dish? What's your favorite dish? I'm not gonna cook it, but I'll order it from Zanzibar. I don't know. You know, I love too much stuff to pick one favorite. How's that? I do love a good curry. Love noodles. A pad see ew or a drunken noodle and a good movie. I'm a happy little bird. Happy little horny little bird. Not, you know what I mean. Look, you don't know. I got some moves. I got some wings I could flash. You don't know. You don't know anything about me. I got some surprising colors on my underbelly. That's all I'll say. Wow, look at all these chair recommendations. Is there a single thing you dislike about drawing? I realized some time ago that there isn't for me, and since I haven't had trouble drawing daily, was wondering if you had a similar experience. A single thing that I dislike about drawing. Not on like a general drawing level. There's certain practices that I don't like you know, inking lines that are sort of already pinned down and things like that. I don't like doing that stuff, but I just keep them out of my practice. I just don't do them. If you don't drink any weird Kool-Aid, I mean, drawing's just pure good stuff. If you just follow your heart and do the parts that you find fun, what's the issue? You won't be a very attractive bird with a tight throat. Don't talk about me that way. Don't talk about me that way. You're getting a little too familiar, Sheldon. Stop talking about my tight throat and what kind of a bird I'm gonna be. You don't know how nicely I warble. I'm a well-known warbler, all right? Cheepa cheepa, chirp chirp. Sorry, I didn't mean to wake you up. Go to sleep. Go back to bed. That's my bad. I apologize. Steven would definitely be a flamingo? Oh, fuck. No. I know you guys can't see my legs because that'd be weird. Be an odd setup for a stream if you could see my legs. But they're definitely not flamingo legs. I'm much too top heavy. Too long in the torso to pass as a flamingo, I'll tell you what. Hey Steven, remember me from 1 hour ago? Good to see such nice progress on the drawing. Thank you, Tanish. And I do remember you. I remember you. As if through a faded dream, through a mirror darkly, through a fogged glass. I remember you. What was his name again? Tani. Old friend, where go thou? It has only been I and my drawings for so long. No, don't go. Please, stay. Stay. Do you find foliage boring? Man, I can never get it right because I give up from the boredom of it. It's a you problem, dog. There's nothing boring about foliage. You just haven't spent enough time tripping out looking at trees. I don't mean on drugs. Drugs might help, but you can do it not on drugs. You gotta fall in love with a tree. Just fall in love with one tree in your life, and then every time you do foliage, just recall that tree. Recall that tree and its knurled, sensual turnings, and just try to draw that. And drawing is about loving things, about being a good custodian of them, of having created a sensitive mind space in which you can hold all of their gorgeous details and marvel at them like a spiritual yokel. That's what it takes to be an artist and to draw well. So go fall in love with a tree. Go look at a bush, a shrub. Get really connected with them. You won't be bored after that. Are you using Photoshop? I am. The one, the only Photoshop. In this corner, weighing in at 2 versions, and having a trimmed down tool set exclusively designed for drawing, we have Clip Studio Paint. And in this corner, weighing in at over 40 versions, different subscription models, and being completely burdened with legacy code and redundant tools, the one, the only, the reigning champion, Photoshop. Damn, my dog farted. The fuck, man. Oh, God. Sometimes it's so bad, I'm like, did she leave a turd in here? What the fuck was that? That was a nasty fart, dog. Let me look at your... This is you actually come here. You're a very useful reference. Let me see. Are your gums lighter than your? Yeah, they're pretty light actually. You know I still love you, though we touched and went our separate ways. If he ever hurts you, true love won't desert you. You know I still love you, though we touched and went our separate ways. I still love you, girl. Ooh, I still love you, girl. Is that a giant dog in the back? Is that a giant dog in the back or a boar? I don't know what it is. Let's see. I'll draw what I think his body looks like behind the rock, and then we can decide if it's a dog or a boar. I think it's probably something like this. That's what I'm imagining. Back there. So, you know. Just kind of make up your own mind. He's beautiful. Oh my God. Have you ever created on psychedelics? No. I have trouble. I don't really like making art in any kind of a modified state. the times that I have tried to create in a modified state, it's never like the defining character of that experience. It's not like, I've never had the thing of like, whoa, I'm having such an amazing time drawing because I'm on drugs. Like, that's never happened for me. It's just like, shit, I'm high and I need to get work done. I just wish I wasn't high. It's not, yeah, I've never had it contribute to the work. I just find all the modified states very distracting, you know, being drunk, being high, anything like that. I personally find them very distracting. So I tend to find them annoyingly distracting me when I try to work in those states. And I just wish I was sober so I could focus on the work. What program is that you're working on? This is Photoshop. I love your channel and art stream so much, man. Thank you. Thank you. There are times when being high feels like a shortcut to flow state, but it's not guaranteed. I think by the time I'd tried it, because I tried drugs pretty, not late in my life, but later than a lot of people. I didn't try them until I was in my mid-20s. Yeah, so not alcohol. I'd had alcohol before, but drugs I hadn't tried until my mid-20s. So at that point, I had already figured out for myself. I had made the gateway and the path to flow and working regularly and enjoying working. I had sort of cemented that for myself many years before I ever tried them. So that probably set me up to experience the changes there as sort of getting in the way of the system and the habits that I had already established for myself. I unknowingly took a piece of cake from the freezer, thought there was a gas leak, not feeling very good. What? How'd you even eat a cake? What? I'm lost. How often do your fan walk up to you in public? Never. I've never had that happen. I don't fan. Not like that. I don't have enough fans to have anybody walk up to me in public. I'm just an itty bitty little artist. Art doesn't really have stuff like that. It's different if you're like at a place that's for art, like a convention or something like that. Yeah, there, you know, people are gonna be primed to look for you and know who you are, but just in regular public, no. People don't really care about artists that way anyway. I've seen artists that I know and recognize out in public, and every time I've seen them, I'm always like, that's interesting. Anyway, and I walk away, don't say hi, nothing like that. I think if I was going to get serious about this picture, I would drag his head out more, show more of his neck. I don't like the amount that's sticking out right now. I think I'd pull it out to like, oops. I think I'd pull it out to like here. Steven, do you watch horror movies? Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, man. I'm not immune to horror movies. You know, it would be cool if he was not furry, if he was like naked cat skin texture. You know, these guys. Let me make sure I'm not getting any, well, hold on, let me make sure I'm not getting any weird results, because that search includes naked. Like that. Dude. The son. What is that? I love that. Oh. I'm sorry. Did I disturb you? You're way over there. Jesus. Sad, you need more fans. Art in general should have more of a following. The public eye is ignorant to the world of wonderful art and artists. Oh, that's sweet. We can't demand attention from people who don't want to give it. No, we cannot. Dude, they're so freaky looking. Oh my god. Sorry, I'm stuck on a scroll here. No, so freaky. Whoa. Looking at a hairless, eyeless one right now. That's some pretty cool reference. That is a cool animal right there. If he ever hurts you, true love won't desert you. You know I still love you, though we touched and went our separate ways. What horror movie do you like the most? Alien. I have a few favorites. I've always loved Alien and The Thing. Those have always been my favorites. Alien, The Thing, and The Witch are probably my favorite horror movies. Ever watched Human Centipede? I saw it in theaters, dude. Saw that shit in a movie theater, in a packed movie theater. It's a wild ride. Oh, that's why that's there. Alien is best, Giger is genius. Yeah, I think The Witch is... All right, I think Alien has the best design. Because Giger's creature just can't be beat. That's the greatest creature design in history. The Thing, I personally like The Thing's plot better than Alien's plot. Alien's the better mood piece. Well, I don't know about that, but I think Alien's the better mood piece, but its design definitely wins. I'm not saying the special effects are better. The Thing's special effects are incredible, but Alien's design is just far more graceful and permanent and impactful and inevitable. But I think as a movie, The Thing's plot I enjoy more, so I like it more for that. The Witch is just so different, you know? It's like, it's the best horror movie I've seen that is like, yeah, it's like, it's all in period language and yet it somehow manages to be scary. It's just like totally, it's a different kind of a thing. I heard that Alien and The Thing might be in the same universe. Well, that would just be a fan theory, wouldn't it? Because I don't think, are the producers or the directors the same? I don't think so, so. Steven, do you think some form of spirituality is important or helpful for artists to have / cultivate? I think so. I mean, artists have every reason to disagree with me, you know, and everyone just gets to make their practice whatever they want. You know, it doesn't have to include anything that anybody else's practice includes. But I personally think art and drawing in particular is a very strong spiritual gateway. It asks you to scrutinize very closely the ground floor facts of how the world presents to you. And I think that you don't have to poke on that very long before you start coming to some shattering conclusions that eventually rewrite some of your brain. But that doesn't mean everybody has to do it. There's plenty of reasons to enjoy drawing without all that stuff. Have you ever seen the original Thing from Another World? I think from the 70s. Makes you appreciate Carpenters even more. I have not. I have seen Mutant Teenagers from Outer Space, though. And that makes me appreciate a lot of things much more. I've also seen Plan 9 from Outer Space. Is it? Those are some bad, bad movies. Tanish says, bye, Steven, but before I go, one last question. When next stream? Probably Monday. I did my first Patreon-only stream a few days ago, so there might be another one before then for the patrons. Go check out the Patreon if you want more streams, and a lot of other things too. I don't know what do I have on the docket? Sometimes I do one on the weekend if I have an open weekend. But I'm usually busy doing all the life stuff on the weekend, doing chores and errands and all that. We'll see. I'm only trying to stream more though, not less, so. I'll be around. What do you mean by spirituality? Like philosophy or something more mystical? Probably get my answer from your videos, but still. Yeah, I talk about it a lot in a lot of the earlier videos, but what could I say? Whatever you want is on the table. A philosophical experience is on the table, a mystical experience is on the table. That's the beautiful thing about art. You wouldn't believe how vast it is. It'll give you whatever you want. That's the amazing thing about it. People don't talk about that a lot, but it's true. I would describe the experiences I've had as truly mystical for what it's worth, but it's up to you what you want and how deep you want to go. I just love Alien 3, this heavy nihilistic atmosphere and religious references make it much, much better than Aliens, which for me, with its ideas, destroyed this mysterious, miraculous figure of the alien. Yeah, I mean, I also prefer keeping things more mysterious. I know what you mean with Aliens, sort of turning it more into an action movie. It's a very good action movie, and it does still have the great world building in there. But I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I like, I haven't watched them much, But I do like the like Prometheus and Alien Covenant. I do like those movies for the effort they made to return to the more mysterious aspects and to make it feel more philosophical and religious and things like that. I think they did a good job at it. Coma says, unlocking the more spiritual, mystical aspects of art through your meditation videos was hands down the biggest thing that got me on the right track and progressing in my artistic journey. Yes. Love to hear it, Coma. That's awesome. That's why I made it, baby. Ah, love that. So happy to hear that. Cheers, friend. May you journey well. Cool. Is there anything you do that you think pushes to the mystical? As a generally agnostic atheist person myself, I feel like the philosophical aspect came easily, but I'm not sure the mystical would. It's hard to make any general statements about it because it's so big. Just what I usually tell people in a general sense to start looking at that part is just make your drawing time a time. This doesn't mean change the content, you know, just use the drawing time as a convenient meditation time. Use it as a time to question everything you are assuming and go as deep with that as you can. Now, it's very vague as a beginning point, but without knowing the specifics of a situation and without having, you know, when I talk about it in the early videos of the channel, I mean, there's dozens of hours of me trying to sort of evaluate it from different angles and things like that. So it's very hard to just sort of wing off something about it. I think that would be kind of, honestly, be deceptive. Hey, Steven, quick question. What are your smudge tool settings? Well, just so you know, I haven't been using the smudge tool here. I'm just using the airbrush. I prefer to use the airbrush to get soft edges rather than smudging stuff. It doesn't come out as nice, but when I do use the smudge tool, I use a scatter brush, just any kind of brush that, you see how this has like, it's a bunch of little dots everywhere. Those are the ones that I usually use. So some brush that's a lot of little dots that scatter everywhere. And I just use it on maximum power, you know. It's up there at 100%. And it's a very brute force tool. It just destroys areas of pixels. So you see that's not as nice and controlled as the airbrush. So my starting point is always with the airbrush to try to get soft edges. I think Star Wars lost a lot of its charm when they tried to explain the Force. Yeah, a lot of people would disagree with us there, but the fuck was that about? What was that about? Is your monitor resolution higher than 4K? No, this is a 4K monitor. I have my other monitor is an iMac, and that's, it's not displaying the UI at 5K, but it's technically a 5K monitor. But I'm not drawing on that right now. And I almost never have it set to that because my old man eyes can't stand seeing symbols and text that small. So I keep it at the, well, the iMac's a weird situation because I think, at its usual at its standard settings, the UIs are being displayed as if they're 2K, like 1440p, but like images within that are actually operating within the 5K. So a 1920p image, like my UI on my iMac will look big and easy to read, but if I pull up like a 1080p image in Photoshop, it'll be fucking tiny there in the screen at 100%. What exactly is the flow setting changing in the brush settings? Nobody knows. It's one of the ancient secrets of Photoshop. Only the high elders are allowed to know that. Can you tell me what the flow settings do in Photoshop? Oh, you don't go for small questions, do you? Well, unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to disclose that information. Maybe if you rise to the ranks, take on some good apprenticeships, and really impress the high elders, you can find out someday, but it's not going to be from me, young one. Goodbye, Arctic. Got to decide if I can't be half weighing this. I got to decide if I'm going to fully commit to the wrinkle cat texture or if I'm not. Maybe more like a difference. I mean, like a, not super wrinkly, but like kind of like a spotty, almost like that spotty texture that gorillas have when they don't have hair. Or like not a gorilla, but a chimp. Sort of have a nice modeling to them. Like little dots and flecks. Generally dark texture. Nice speculars. How do you sustain yourself as an artist? Is being on YouTube enough? God, no. I couldn't live off of... I sustain myself... Right now, I'm sustaining myself with my courses and stuff like that. But, which are connected to YouTube, because YouTube is sort of my marketing for that. You know, just getting my name out there. But YouTube on its own, like ad money? God, no. No, I couldn't live off of that. Oh, this I like. Whatever the heck this thing is, I like that. I like that texture. I like that he has mutton chops. That feels pretty direct to this thing that I'm drawing. Is that a bear? That's probably a bear, right? A bear with alopecia. What the hell is that thing? La chupacabra. Can you please show me how to set up my brush so that I can have slight color variations on it? Sounds like you already know. Just turn on color dynamics on your brush. It's right here. If you go up to brush settings, it's that button right there. Color dynamics. That's all you need, brother. Recently, I have been struggling with anxiety with my art and I am not sure what to do. Do you think learning to get into the flow state would help? For sure. For sure. But don't try to turn it into an objective. That will make flow harder to reach, I think, personally. I'm sure you've experienced flow already. I think just think of, try to be aware of when it arrives. What state are you in? What conditions? Create the little temple that will invite it back into your life over and over again. Jesus. The fuck? Oh boy. I see a lot of things suddenly changing in that family vacation chat. Hey Stephen, how did you handle stress from work? I have difficulty deloading after a long work day and it influences my practice a lot. It was difficult, like it is for anybody. I don't know what to tell you. You know, it depends on your workplace, depends on your needs. It's not easy. I know it's not easy. One of the things that worked for me was I moved my practice time to the morning before work so that I wasn't like drawing tired when working for myself and drawing for myself. I wasn't working tired as often, and I hadn't sort of built up a patina of disappointments throughout the day yet. I was a real night person before that, and now to this day I still prefer to work. My favorite time to work is first thing in the morning. So maybe try that. And I don't care how early you gotta wake up, do it. Maurizio says, you don't feel guilty when you spend so much time on an illustration with no planning behind it? Like, I get the spontaneous drawing and stuff, but still. No. Guilty? Guilty for drawing a lot? I would never feel guilty about that. The problem is never drawing too much. The problem is always drawing too little. The problem is always spending too little time being creative, finding too many reasons not to work, finding too many new things to feel guilty about or to limit the practice or to make sure that you never sit down and do it. Those are the problems. Drawing too much is never. Spending too much time on art, that is never the problem. Never, ever the problem. How many hours do you sleep usually, Steven? Just curious. Like 7-ish. Seven to 8. Pretty typical amounts. It's usually 8 hours on the clock, but then my watch tells me I only slept for 7. It's like, man, fuck you. Turn you off. I don't even want to hear this. No, no, no. I mean spending too little time on planning. Spending too little time on planning. No, no, I don't. I would feel guilty if I didn't know how to finish pictures. If I didn't know how to plan them. Or not guilty. Guilty is not the right word, but I would sort of detect a deep issue there. But I do know how to plan pictures, and I do know how to finish them. Yeah, it's just there's different contexts for different things. I mean, look at the description of the stream. Like, this is just sketchbook time. You don't need to plan in your sketchbook. You don't have to plan ever if you don't want. And I don't like to, you know, everybody's different. Everybody has different requirements and has different things they're looking for from their art. Like, I don't have any interest in planning things for the sake of it, you know? Especially for digital stuff. I don't really do digital illustrations. I'm not a digital illustrator for the most part. I do digital a lot for design. And design has been most of my career. I don't really illustrate much, so I don't really sit around illustrating for the sake of it. When I do illustrate, it's traditional with pencil, and those I do plan pretty heavily when I'm going to push them all the way, when I'm going to finish them. It's like, it's sort of a, I don't know, I find it kind of silly sitting around doing thumbnails and things like that when I don't actually have a goal. And I don't feel, it's just I'm in a time when you might just find yourself in a time where you're like, yeah, I have no real goal. I don't have a specific picture that I'm trying to make. And there's nothing wrong with that. In that case, just draw. Because a specific picture that you want to make, it will come. It'll pop up. Doesn't have to be on your schedule or anybody else's schedule. It's going to come when it comes. And then when it comes, then it'll be, you know, you'll know exactly what you need to do to plan it. Planning is probably more so for finishing a commission within a time frame, no? Again, it really just, it's going to vary from person to person. I mean, I've done pretty serious planning exercises for drawings that I'm just doing completely for myself with no timeline. I think you plan when you have something to plan, you know, when you have a specific, you've done enough exploring and enough sketching and enough drawing that you have a specific vision in mind. And I don't mean a visual, like a floating image that you're trying to trace. I mean, like, you know, this is the feeling I need from this piece. This is what I need the composition to communicate. This is what I'm trying to achieve with it. This is the idea, you know? If there's something you can write down about the picture, then you're ready to plan, you know? But at least for me, again, some people probably can only work if they plan aggressively. But before that, just planning for planning's sake, like just, I see a lot of people doing thumbnails about nothing. And it's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. You know? I need to be careful with that because it can make sense to do thumbnails about nothing if you know they're searching for a concept. But if you don't have the awareness of that, then I think it doesn't make any sense. Steven, have you ever had any repercussions to your art by not having a fixed sleep schedule or lack of sleep, for example? I don't care how little I sleep. I need to finish this piece or practice. Maybe early on in like high school or something like, or college or something like that, just when I was, you know, living off of fear. But after that, no. I mean, you gotta sleep. Don't ruin your health. Don't ruin your health for art. Don't make sense. Get some rest. Besides, art isn't about grinding things out. It's not about, you know, you're not in the Navy SEALs. It's not Buds. It's not Hell Week. There's no reason to burn yourself out just so that you can prove to daddy that you're working hard on something he doesn't understand. It's art. You're going to be more creative if you feel good. So eat well, sleep a lot, be happy, read books. I mean, you're not going to be a better artist because you're miserable and gritty. And you can think you're working as hard, and you can think as much as you want that you're working harder than other people, but some fucking kid will show up when you're in the middle of that ego trip, and they'll be like, man, I just love drawing so much, and they'll wipe the floor with you. It's like, none of that stuff means anything. None of that stuff's real. Steven, tell the banana bread story again. You know, once upon a time, me and a big loaf of banana bread were walking down the street. And the banana bread was like, damn, I love you, Steven. You're my best friend. And I was like, I love you too, banana bread. We're the best of friends, aren't we? Thick as thieves. And the banana bread was like, love you, man. Love you. Can't get enough of you. Love spending time with you. Love looking at you. Love being near you. And I was like, me too, banana bread, man. You sound a little bit insecure about it. You ain't got to worry about it, dog. You know we're #1 best buds forever, banana bread. I love you. And in the middle of saying that, banana bread got hit by a car. Swear to God. Stepped off a curb. Hit by a fucking Rivian, man. This was recent. I got down on the curb. I was like, no, banana bread. No, banana bread. No, are you okay? Fucking idiot got out of the Rivian. He's like, oh my God, I didn't see him. What the hell was he thinking? Why'd he step out on the curb like that? And I was like, shut the fuck up, man. You just hit my best friend, banana bread, man. Call the cops, man. Call the cops, get an ambulance, man. Banana bread was like, Steven, come here. Come close, Steven. Come here. I was like, what is it, banana bread? What is it? I'm listening, banana bread. What is it? What happened? It's like, Steven, I know you got problems with abandonment. You got abandonment issues because of the way your daddy died, Steven. So, Steven, I just want you to know this ain't your fault, man. There's no way you could have seen the Rivian coming, man. I don't want you to blame yourself for this. I'm like, banana bread, don't even think about that right now, man. It's not about that. It's just about you and me. It's just about everything being right with me. Because, Steven, I need you to understand this isn't your fault, all right? I love you, man. I'll always be with you, bro. I'll always be with you. I'm like, banana bread, no! And then banana bread breathed his last breath right there in my arms, man. Right there in my arms, man. He was gone before the ambulance got there. Anyway, yeah, that's the banana bread story. I just went to the other room and came back. What's going on? My mother and I ran into the room thinking it was my nephew. Oh, man. Sorry. Shout out to Daryl's nephew, dude. Not a dry eye in the live stream. Not a dry eye. Damn it, my brush is stuck. Oh, Photoshop, always with the bugs. You gotta do new file, next file, next file. Then you gotta draw on this file for a little bit. Now it's fixed. Then you go back to this one. Now it's all good. Next file. Happy to help, Lucas. Happy to help. Goodbye, Mar. You get the license plate number? I was in shock. Wasn't thinking straight. Need to make a light, nice little patch of light here by our boys. Bigger patch of light, please. Damn, I stink. It's not good. Damn. I think it's time for lunch and a shower. That's what I say. That's what I say. I'm getting hungry. How long have we been shooting? 3 hours and 40 minutes. All right. It's time to take a break, folks. I'm going to wrap it up. There's our sketchbook page for the day. Boop, 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 boop. I'll just stay on for a couple of minutes while we wrap up. Just a little bit of a wrap up. Thanks for being here, everybody. I'm getting hungry, though. I got to eat that lunch. Digital paintings are like onions. Psst, totally. Totally. What do you think about erotic art for sexual healing / self-discovery? Need that sexual healing, sexual healing, baby. That's what I think. If you want my body and you think I'm sexy, come on, sugar, let me know. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. Blow, daddy. First time joining a stream, and it was great to listen as I draw too. Glad to hear that, Isaac Mill, truly. What do you think of the carnivore diet? Interesting. Yeah, like I said earlier in the stream about erotic art, it's never been for me. It's not my personal cup of tea. It's just never, I've never felt compelled to make erotic art, but it's one of the oldest parts of art, so there's got to be something there. I mean, I can't give advice on that journey because I've never engaged in it myself, but maybe there's some way to go through sexual healing with it, but you'd have to find it on your own. Weird stuff. What do you think of the cannibal diet, dude? Sometimes you gotta eat people. Isn't Armie Hammer a cannibal? Didn't he say he wants to eat people? Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Not my cup of tea, I have to say. For me personally, I've never been compelled to eat people, but you know, someone might want to do it. What do you think about the banana bread diet? Sometimes that's all you've got to live off of. Sometimes it's your only source of calories and it's your only friend in the world. Banana bread, we were buds. Banana bread, I miss you. Banana bread, where did you go? Oh, banana bread, I will never forget you. Banana bread, you are always in my heart. Oh, oh, banana bread, we loved you. This is the song I sang at Banana Bread's eulogy at his funeral. I got up there and I was like, I wrote a song about banana bread. I know he would have liked it. Banana bread, banana bread. We'll miss you, banana bread. What do you think about the Stevens cup of tea diet? It's not my cup of tea. You know, some people, you know, cup of tea diet is sort of what you need, you know, for your temperament, for the particular kind of person that you are. For some people, you know, everyone's on one end of an extreme of a continuum. It's like some people, cup of tea diet is the right choice. Other people, it's not. you know, and that's how art is, you know, because art is so vast and structureless, they could just give you whatever you need. So if you ask art for a cup of tea diet, you're going to get the cup of tea diet. And it's like, just draw for the fun of it. And there's no need to grind things out obsessively. And, you know, art's not about stunting on people. And, you know, you don't need to prove to yourself anything about your dad. And banana bread, I miss you. Banana bread, I wish you were still here. Thank you, everybody. But please stop clapping. We're at a funeral. Banana bread, please come back if it's possible. We're gonna keep your body safe. Find a way back to it, banana bread. Float on down to your body. Come back to life. Resurrect yourself, banana bread. We're waiting for you. Please stop clapping, everyone. Please be respectful. Please be respectful. What crayon color is your favorite to eat? Poo-poo. Poo-poo crayon. My favorite to eat. Me artist. Me like to eat crayon. Baba. I don't know what the hell voice that was supposed to be. Just a general simpleton? I don't know. I think it got offensive somewhere in there, in the middle. I want to apologize to any artists who eat crayons for that one. You know, I didn't intend it, but intent is 5/3 of the law, or whatever it is. So it sucks because there is no active erotic or pinup artist here. You mean on YouTube? Oh yeah, I mean they don't let you. They don't allow it. It's just illegal. It's YouTube illegal. It's completely YouTube illegal. That puppy is friend-shaped. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What do you think of the Fanny dog diet? Do not eat my dog. Stay away from my dog. And Fanny's name is spelled F-A-N-N-I-E. We're those hipster parents. We're like, you gotta spell it the unexpected way just to ruin people's lives. Just to make it hard to do roll call. Fanny? Raise your hand if you're Fanny. It feels like it was making fun of someone, but I can't tell who. Gonna have that banana bread song in my head over breakfast? Good God. Good luck. Any tips for someone just starting out? I got stickers made, just starting to sell out art. I got stickers made, but not sure if I should expand on it and start making prints and more, or just stick with stickers for now. I wish I had better advice about that, just because I don't sell many products myself. I don't have a big variety of products. I don't have any stickers or anything. I have some prints up, but not many. I would ask your audience. I think, you know, the old adages of market research and all that are probably the best call there. Go to your audience. And I actually think not so much in a poll. I mean, like, try to talk to some members of your audience directly. Do a poll, you know, do a Twitter poll or an Instagram poll and ask them, like, hey, what would you want to buy from me? But then also see if you can't get some of them on the horn. Talk to them directly and sort of like feel them out. Be like, what do you want from me? What could I surprise you with? Maybe pitch them a few ideas, things that they wouldn't have expected. And then see if they're like, whoa, that's actually awesome. Why not Fanny? Because I don't believe in the PH propaganda. I'm Steven with a V. Stevens with a PH? Wrong side of history, brother. Wrong side of history. There's only one way that's going to shake out. And the Stevens with the V are going to be on top. V forever. Voila! In view, a humble vaudevillian veteran, cast vicariously as both the victim and the villain by the vicissitudes of fate. This visage, no mere veneer of vanity, is a remnant of the vox populi, now vacant and vanish. Verily I say this vichyssoise of verbiage veers most verbose, so let me simply add that it is my very good pleasure to meet you, and that you may call me V. Don't forget to work out, Art Brothers. Yeah, I could go for a run today. Run would be good. It's gonna rain though. If it don't rain too much, still runnable. Let's check the weather. It's raining right now. That's what my phone says. Don't speak. I know what you're thinking, and I don't need your reasons. Don't tell me 'cause it hurts. No, 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 don't speak. I know what you're thinking. I really shouldn't be singing this much with my throat all fucked up. Steven, where do ideas come from and why is it magic? That's the beautiful thing, man. Nobody knows where ideas come from. Don't believe anybody who says they know. Nobody knows. Inspect on your own. Inspect on your own. Sit in a chair. Take a couple of deep breaths. And for just 10 minutes, observe your thoughts. Do not judge. Do not recoil. Do not attempt to control them. Let every dark, repetitive, annoying, tiresome, boring thought emerge as it normally does, and just observe and see what happens. Rinse, dry, repeat. All right, everybody. I'm going to head out. I'm very hungry. It's time for lunch. Thank you for being here. I will see you all soon. Consider taking my Form from Imagination drawing course. Link is in the description. If you want more streams, more exclusive audio, and scans of pencil drawings, all sorts of stuff, check out the Patreon. Consider supporting me on Patreon. It would really mean a lot. $5 tier, $10 tier if you want some discounts on things like my Gumroad videos or the course. I've been wanting to do some Patreon-only streams for a while. I did the first one the other day. So if you're interested in more streams, check that out. And I will see you all soon. I will see you all soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.